Are we on the air?
You're now in the mix with The Corner Radio, hosted by Kill, banging nothing but classic hip-hop, soul, and R&B.
What's good, what's good, what's good? You tuned into The Corner Radio, hosted by your man, Kill. I got my squad up here with me today. I got my man, Jace. What's going on, fam?
Ain't nothing, baby. How you feel?
Oh, man, everything good, man. Everything good. Just glad to have everybody on tonight. And then I got two of my folk from one of my favorite hip-hop podcasts out here, the Light Podcast. I got my man, Scott and John. What's going on, y'all?
What's good, Kill? Always glad to be here, man. Anytime.
No doubt, no doubt. What's good with you, John?
Good, Kill. You know, just like Scott said, man, it's good to be here, man.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Well, you know me. Let's jump right into it, man. My man sent me this link from Rolling Stone, and they had a joint called the 20 Great Hip Hop One-Liners. Now, number one, anytime somebody sends me a link from any magazine or website, just being honest with you, I almost discredit it from the door because I feel like so many of these websites and these magazines got young cats writing for them or whatever. You know what I mean? I almost feel like if you don't got nobody at least 36 and over on your squad, I really probably don't want to hear nothing you got to say. You know, and I hate to sound like that, but it's just the truth. I was telling my man the other day, when you look on ESPN, you take the average age of those cats up there who are on the air giving their opinion on stuff is definitely 40 plus. You know what I'm saying? They don't got nobody fresh out of college, no 24, 25-year-old on there. So I feel like that's always a discredit to the older dudes in the game. But I was looking at some of their one-liners, and it's like Lil Wayne, real G's moving silence like lasagna. And I'm like, that's a one-liner? You know what I mean? They had Kanye, I'm trying to right my wrongs, but it's funny, them same wrongs helped me write this song. I'm like, all right. You know, then for Big, you got Climb the Ladders to Success, escalator style. Now, keep this in mind. Out of everything Biggie said, they gonna pick Climb the Ladder to Success, escalator style, and this is from a song called Just a Memory off the album The Duets. But see, that's what I'm talking about right there. Like, dog, come on, man. You know, you got Big L. I wasn't poor. I was so po, I couldn't afford the OR. Nothing off Ebonics, but, you know, so, and the list just goes Eminem. The best part about me is I'm not you. I'm not even a big M dude, but that's the line you pick to represent Eminem. So all that to say, man, anytime somebody sends me something like that, you know, I got to get down with my dudes who I already know are heads and really come up with the one-liners who hit you. So I'm almost looking at it like anywhere from 2 to maybe 6 bars right there. For cats who don't know out there, the average verse in a hip-hop song is 16 bars. So we looking anywhere between 2 to maybe 6, maybe pushing at the 8 to get your point across. But I'm interested in what y'all cats got for your one-liners. So, Scott, why don't you start us off, bro? What's one of your one-liners that you got for us?
All right, first of all, let me just say it like this, Kill. This was a hard-ass exercise, man. When you first hit me, I was like, bet, this is going to be all right. I can get it. Then, as you sit down, you start to really go through the one-liners and, you know, the things that really got to you. That was difficult, man. It was difficult to really narrow it down. So I like to start it off with something that Rakim said that moved the crowd. And I'll just set it up real quick. One of the things, you know, Rakim, one of the greatest MCs of all time, right? And, you know, I think, you know, some of the things that he said, if you really dissect his lyrics, are incredibly valuable. They're invaluable. And if you listen closely, he gave you instructions on how to be like him, on how to be a great MC. So I go to the track Move the Crowd, where he said, how could I move the crowd? First of all, ain't no mistakes allowed. Here's the instruction. Put it together. It's simple, ain't it? But quite clever. So he told you right there, you know what I'm saying? Like how to be like him, how to do it. You can't make no mistakes. Now put it all together. You know what I'm saying? It sounds easy, but it's not. You can't be like me. It's difficult to be like me. So I know it's real simple, but those are one of the gems that I take from Rakim right there.
Nah, that's dope. That's dope. I think it may be a couple more Rakim joints for the night. So you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Jace, what you got on tap for us, bro?
Man, just to echo what Scott said, this was really hard, man. you start to thinking there was so many dope verses, so many dope lines from a lot of spitters out there.
Right.
Kind of sum it up and break it down. Anyway, started off with you pretty much can't go wrong with a reasonable doubt, in my opinion. Right. So off of Can I Live? Lock my body, can't trap my mind. Easily explain why we adapt to crime. I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. That's how we own it. Live at the main event. I ain't gonna go any further. Y'all get the idea, man. Those lines encapsulate a lot. Like if you were back in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, crack, drugs was on the scene. Everybody had this do or die mentality. And those lines right there just kind of sum it up.
Yeah. And it's funny, that line, we had done Salute and Reasonable Doubt. That was one of my favorite verses from Jay off there. You know, so I definitely feel you on that joint. You can't go wrong with Jay. I don't think it's gonna be too many cats. Like I almost say, like, you know, y'all freshmen, y'all go out there and read Rolling Stone. When y'all want to learn, y'all come. You know what I mean, when y'all want to learn some things, come over this way. You know, go to that. That's remedial English, like to me. That's remedial hip hop. Come over here when you're ready for this stuff. John, what you got on tap for us, bro?
Well, I don't know who I want to start with off my list. I hate to sound like I'm just saying what everyone else said, and that's dang, Kill, this was hard, man. this was hard, man, especially for me because I've been listening to hip hop since '78.
Right.
So, and even when you go back a little further, once I got into hip hop, I started listening to a little Gil Scott-Heron, so he was a little earlier in the '70s. So I mean, there's just so many cats. But I'm just going to start it off. Your boy Jay already said Jay-Z, so I'll wait to circle back around to him. Scott already took KRS.
Nah, he took Rakim.
Rock. So he took Rakim. So I want to go with KRS. I want to start it off with the teacher. All right. So for me, it's going to be KRS off of Criminal Minded. Right in the middle of, I think, his second verse, he says, "You're a king, I'm a teacher. You're a b-boy, I'm a scholar. If this was a class, it would go right under drama. See, kings lose crowns, but teachers stay intelligent. Talking big words on the mic, but still irrelevant." And when you look at the whole hip-hop landscape as we see today, that currently applies. You know what I mean? Everybody's trying to be the king. Everybody's trying to be number one. No one's out there trying to teach and uplift. And if you're out there and if you're trying to teach and uplift, what he's saying is your reign will be longer than anybody else's reign. Because if you're teaching, you're bringing people with you. If you're trying to be a king, you're just standing on top of what somebody else has already built. So that teacher is far more significant than that king that everybody's trying to be in the industry. You feel me?
I see you over there dropping science, John. I see you bringing it.
That's because I hang out with Scott a lot. You know what I mean?
You had it, bro. You had it.
Nah. That's dope. You can't go wrong with KRS. The funny thing is I was with y'all. I was like, yo, this is gonna be hard. But what I tried to start doing was, there's certain like hip hop lines that I use, like not my everyday life, but just in basic conversation. So I kind of tried to start just clinging to those first, and doing that first. So the first thing I had was Common off the 6th Sense, where he says, "If I don't like it, I don't like it. It don't mean that I'm hating." You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I picked that joint is because I always felt like it was this trick that Puff pulled on everybody. You know, because when he first dropped, it was like, that's whack, y'all just looping, whatever. And then came the Mad Rapper skit, and it was like, oh, if you don't like us, you broke, because we rich, and, you know, nobody want to be perceived as broke. So then the word hater came up. You know, nobody wanted to be a hater. So then, you know, we all these people just gravitated to liking Puff because nobody wanted to be called that hater. And, you know, even to this day, you know, if you don't say that you love something or like, you know, it's the best thing since sliced bread, it's like, yo, why you hating? And I always just love that calm line of, if I don't like it, I don't like it. Like, that's all it is. Like, you know, it's nothing. It's just not my cup of tea. The most ironic thing about that line is back in like 2000, I was real big and real heavy on OK Player, and Calm was on there. And I guess it was a little bit later because it was Electric Circus had dropped. And, you know, Cass was kind of talking about they didn't like it. And he came on and was like, yo, stop hating or something to that extent. And I'm like, bro, I'm gonna use your own words against you. Like, if I don't like it, I don't like it. It don't mean that I'm hating. You know what I mean? So it was just so ironic that it kind of came full circle like that. But that line just always stood out to me, because to me, it's, you know, it's okay not to like something, you know. And nowadays everybody is so overly sensitive, and Kendrick said that in one of his rhymes, like, we gotta stop being so sensitive. Like, you know, I'm not a big Ninth Wonder dude. I didn't say dude was whack. I'm just not a fan of dudes like that. I think his beats are cool, but I just don't think he's as great as what everybody thinks. I'm sure if he heard that, it's like, oh, fuck Kill. Dog, if y'all say, okay, I like your beats, but I don't think you better than Dilla, I'm gonna agree with you. I ain't better than Dilla. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so for me, it's just like, it's okay to not be in love with somebody, but it's like the second you be like, he all right, it's like, oh, you hate. So that's why that line always kind of stood out to me like that. So that was my first joint. Scott, what you got up next for your next joint?
Okay, so I'm gonna try it like this. This is a new artist. It's a girl out of San Jose. It's actually an artist that John put me on a while back. Her name is Ruby Ibarra. She's out of San Jose, California. And the thing I like about her, man, is she's a new artist, but she reaches back out to the icons. She reaches back out and she pays homage to the icons in her lyrics and in her production. She produces her own music as well. So, you know, one of the things about this exercise that I thought was hard was that it was very difficult to limit it to 8 to 16, because I had to kind of like set it up and really describe what she was talking about. So on this particular track, it's called Writer's Block, and what she said was, I'm a mad villain, I relapse and do miles. Y'all doom motherfuckers can't mask your used styles. These idioms, I'm sending them to idiots and simpletons. Don't pity them, I sentence them opinions depending when. And I love that, man, because if you listen and really dissect what she said in the beginning, I'm a mad villain, I relapse and do miles. She's paying homage to Doom, to MF Doom, you know, Daniel Dumoulin. Y'all doom motherfuckers can't mask your U styles. I mean, how she worked that into her rhyme is ridiculous, man. It's completely ridiculous. And this young girl out of San Jose, she's maybe 25 years old. You know what I mean? Spoken word artist out of Cali, but she's completely dope, man. And I love how she just paid homage to Doom like that.
All right, what's shorty name again?
Ruby Ibarra.
Okay.
Ruby Ibarra. I'll send y'all links to her, man. She's really refreshing. She does her own beats. You know, she writes her own rhymes, and she's a poet. She's a poet first. You know what I mean? It's dope, man.
All right, that's what's up. Jace, what you got up next?
This next one, kind of like you said, man, it resonates with me. It strikes a chord. It's probably not going to be everybody's favorite from this dude, but it sticks with me. Off of Nas's Life is Good album. So just backdrop for me, man. When the album came out, Leslie and I, our oldest, was about to turn 1. It's a girl. The song Daughters. At the end of the verse, he says, they say the coolest players and foulest heartbreakers in the world, God gets us back. He makes us have precious little girls. Yeah. I got 2 over here. And man, if that don't sit with me to this day, man, every time it gives me chills when I hear those lines, man. And then, so even the backdrop even further, man. I remember watching Rap City when I believe it was either Prince Dejour, this is how far I'm gonna take it back. It was either Prince Dejour or Joe Clear interviewing Nas at a table, and he had Destiny with him, and she was like a baby. She was like a real young toddler. To see the video and to see the progression, not only in him lyrically, but his daughter growing up, and just watching my daughter now, she's 5. At the time, she was about to turn 1.
Right.
Oh, and the madness in the world, y'all know how it go. We all, man, been hunters at one time or another, if we ain't still now. And then transitioning to lifehood. One, I thought the album was dope. Some people ain't necessarily get it, and that's cool. But it resonated with me. That line to this day, it hits me in the gut every time I hear it. I know somewhere along the line, I'm gonna have to not only mold and console, but teach.
Yeah. No. Same thing, bro. You know, Nay about to turn 11, so I already got little boys in her school already plotting. So, you know, it's part of the game, B. But you exactly right on that joint, man. That's probably my favorite part of that song right there. You know, perfect way. We always talk about starting a verse. That's the perfect way to end the verse too. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's a another missing skill in the game. So that's another dope choice. John, what you got on next?
Well, I'm going to go back to Rakim, and I'm going to go to Follow the Leader. One of the dopest lines I ever heard in hip hop came from Ra, man, off of this cut, and he was like, "Stop bugging." A brother said, "Dig him." I never dug him. He couldn't follow leader. He couldn't follow the leader long enough, so I drug him into the danger zone. He should arrange his own face. It's basic. Erase or change your tone. There's one R in the alphabet. It's one letter, word, and it's about to get more complex from one rhyme to the next. Listen, how he, and I know I read it with a couple extra pauses because I wanted to pause in certain places. Where he said there's one R in the alphabet, and then he comes down to that next verse, he says, it's one letter, comma, word. So he already flipped just one letter into a whole word, meaning his name. He introduced himself to everybody like there as the R. You know what I mean? Everybody's Rakim, but right there, he told you, I'm the R, period. No mistakes. You know what I mean? I can keep dropping bars that will line up with this bar, but that right there, he couldn't follow the leader long enough, so I drug him. You know what I mean? You can, hey, look, you can get with it or get ran over. How many times have we heard that from movies to different lyrics? How many MCs have flipped that same verse talking about how dope they are and how people got to get brought to them? Jay-Z even did it later on when he talked about the re-release of Reasonable Doubt 4 years later. He was like, cats wasn't ready for me back then. I had to catch them up. Now that they heard me a couple times, now let me re-release my first joint so now that they can hear Jimmy. That's the same thing that R is saying right there. Couldn't follow the leader long enough, so I drug him. Dope.
That's dope. The next joint I got up is Jay-Z, you know, a name who's been said already, and it's from The Takeover. And it's a wise man told me once, don't argue with fools, because people from a distance can't tell who is who.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And I think for me, that's just the way that I've learned to live my life, man. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you can't argue with everybody, man. You know what I mean? And every time, from the first time I heard it to even now, I just always look at it like somebody looking from afar and just seeing two people arguing, and you can't tell who is who. You know what I mean? And it was just, for me, at 42, I got too much stuff I got to do. So, you know, I don't want to argue. You know, that's why I try to have brothers like y'all up here where we could build with each other and learn from each other. Not just, you know, well, I think Big is better and I think Jay. I don't want to argue, man. You know, I'm just like, yo, let you know, explain to me why you think Jay is better. I tell you why I think Big is better. It don't mean I got to change your opinion or you change mine. I'm just interested now in just, you know, wanting to know why about so many things, or why people, you know, choose the MCs or the verses or whatever they do. So that's just something I always really, you know, and even back again with the internet and OK Player and chat rooms like that with hip hop, you know, I find myself arguing with people, and then I go to their profile page and it's a kid who's 18 years old from London. Why am I sitting here arguing with, like, I was like, I'm done, man. Why am I'm going back and forth for 2 hours going, you know, typing up a storm, and it's like, yo, this kid's 8. This nigga don't know no better, man. So, you know, that J line just always resonates with me, like, you know, because again, people from a distance can't tell who is who, you know, it just sound like a bunch of noise. So that was my next joint. Scott,
it's funny you say that, Kill, because that's what my grandfather used to always tell me growing up. So the first time I heard, so that was going to be one of my choices, but I was like, yeah, nah, I think I said that on one of the podcasts, so I had to leave that one alone. It's kind of like repeating a good suit. You know what I'm saying? So, but that is a dope line, though, no doubt.
Yeah, crazy line. Scott, what you got up next, bro?
All right, first I just want to say I agree with what you said 100%, man. Art, you know, hip hop is art and it's subjective, you know what I mean? So, you know, arguing about it, I think is kind of futile at times, man, because, you know, different artists and songs resonate with people for different reasons, man. So, hey, I agree with what you said 100%, man. But, so the next one I got, again, digging back into what I said first with Rakim about him giving instructions. He said, you know, first of all, no mistakes allowed, right? So I like songs like that, man, where, you know, a real MC is giving you instructions on how to do this, right? So again, kid, I apologize. I'm kind of hard headed, man. I got more than 16 right here, man. I gotta set it up right though. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So this is M1 Dead Prez. This is hip hop, right? One of my favorite songs of all time. He said, "If you check 1, 2, my word of advice to you is just relax. Just do what you got to do. If that don't work, then kick the facts. If you a fighter, rider, biter, flame igniter, crowd exciter, or you just want to get high, then just say it. But then if you're a liar, pants on fire, wolf crier, agent with a wire, I'm going to know it when I play it." You know what I mean? So I love that, man, because he's giving you, that's a gift right there. He's giving you instructions on how to be a real MC. Be authentic. Be who you are. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. And I think he's really speaking to those fake MCs, the one that's not really authentic, the ones that's bringing the culture down with that nonsense, with that stupidity. And I just love that, man. I love that song. I listen to it almost every day.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just watching Up Late last night or one night last week, and the Dave Chappelle Block Party came on. And then they was on there. So yeah, I was just listening to it myself. So yeah, that's dope. Yeah. That's dope. Jace, what you got up next?
Yeah, I talked to you about this last show, man. One of my favorites, one of the most underrated MCs, I think, Black Thought, is from the Rising Down album. Like I don't know if y'all remember the album. On the intro, all the fellas on the phone talking about the path, the direction of the group, and they just start arguing. It's just all this friction and tension. Boom, coming to Rising Down. And the song is basically about how everything is going backwards. Society is changing for the worse. Everything is going down, rising down. And the verse Thought says, "It ain't hard to tell if the conditions is drastic. Turn on the telly and peep for the news captions. How you want it bagged, paper or plastic, lost in translation or just lost in traffic." Like with everything going on, the way information is spilled, and it's real easy to get lost in the sauce, not be able to tell who's who, what is what. You can either get misinformation or just misinterpret it. We could recycle the same garbage, the same nonsense. There's so many different ways to take those bars, man. It's just, man. The first time I heard it, it hit me. I was like, yo, this is it. This is the world we live in. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's a dope album too. That Rising Down.
Yeah, it is.
It's dope. Dope. John, what you got next, bro?
Well, it seems like Scott and I are about breaking the rules. I don't know. Maybe that's why. maybe that's why when we put out an episode, it's like it's a struggle for Scott to edit it down to just 2 hours and 30 minutes because we do talk a lot. But for me, man, I got to go with Jay-Z, and it's off of his Young Forever. And I'll just start it off. I mean, pretty much everybody knows it, but life is for living, not living uptight till you're somewhere in the sky. Fear not die. I'll be alive for 1,000,000 years. Bye-bye. Are not for legends. I'm forever young. My name shall survive. Through the darkest blocks, over kitchen stoves, over Pyrex pots. My name shall be passed down to generations while debating up in barbershops. Young slung, hung here. Showed that nigga from here. With a little ambition, just what we can become here. And as his father passes his story down to his son's ears, younger get younger every year. Yeah. Every year on my birthday, I post this song. Because to me, that immortality thing is serious. Because at the same time, my name is also my son's name. And my name was also my dad's name. It was also my grandfather's. And then the first, so we got 5 generations on the books of our name. So when I hear that verse and I hear that particular cut, man, that Forever Young, it resonates with me so deep just because of the legacies. And while I look at it from an introspective point of view, I also look at it through the hip hop lens, and that's the way hip hop should be. Hip hop should be that art form that's passed down from generation to generation, and it just gets better and better and better. Not what we're seeing here today with some of these cats. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some cats in the game that are holding down the game. Locksmith, Chance the Rapper, Sky Zoo. I can keep going on and on. I mean, Kill, you and I have talked about it. Scott, you and I have talked about it. Jay, I'm sure you and Kill have talked about it. I mean, there's a lot, like Scott mentioned, Ruby Abaria. You know, there's a lot of good artists. There are a lot of good artists that are coming out right now that exemplifies that first, meaning that it's just going to keep getting better if we pass it down the right way. And I think that's the message there. You got to be a leader with it. You know what I mean?
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. My next joint is Kanye West off of Spaceship. And the quote is, dude, lock yourself in the room doing 5 beats a day for 3 summers. That's a different world like Cree Summers. I deserve to do these numbers. And the reason why that resonates with me is because, man, the summer of 98, man, I graduated Morgan 97. I moved to Atlanta, tried to do music down there, didn't pan out. So I moved back to Philly. And I moved back, like, I guess in May. And my whole thing, my great-grandfather just died. He left me some money. So I was like, look, I ain't working this summer. I'm putting everything into these beats. That's all I did. I was in New York. I was doing everything. And I was like, look, if it don't pop this summer, then, you know, come September, I'm going to just, you know, be a teacher, do something like that. And, I mean, it didn't pop, but I mean, and right when September came, I got a call from WEAA, Morgan Stage radio station, my alma mater, and they brought me back and they hired me. But every time I hear that line, it just takes me back to that summer because that's all I did. I mean, you talk that that's all I did, just make beats, have MCs come through. It would literally be, no exaggeration, anywhere between 10 to 20 niggas in my house on a daily, just coming like a revolving door, coming in, dropping vocals, making beats. So when Ye says that, and even I hear the passion in his voice in saying that, you know, that line just always stood out to me because that's, you know, you feel like, yo, I deserve this, man. All the time I put into this craft, and I deserve to do these numbers. So that was my next joint. Scott, what you got up next, man?
All right, so I'm gonna keep on this track here of you know, MCs giving, you know, providing knowledge, providing instructions on how to do this. I go back to a track, I think this is 99, One Below from Binary Star. The track is called Reality Check, and right up there at the beginning, at the top of One Below's verse, he said, "It ain't all about economy. So the fact that all these whack MCs is making G's don't bother me. Honestly, my #1 policy is quality. Never sell my soul is my philosophy." It's one of my favorite songs of all time, Reality Check, man. And you know, if you really dig into what he's saying there, he's like, look, I'm not really concerned with what other people's doing, what kind of music is being released. I'm worried about my craft, with my art. You know what I mean? If I spend too much time concerned about other artists, you know, hating on kind of what they putting out, then it takes away from the energy that I need to put into my music. And I think if other artists kind of followed that, if they listen to that, then this whole issue about the quality of music would be less, you know, less important. You know what I mean? I think there are a lot of artists that's actually doing that, man. But I mean, I just gave you, you know, three verses from 3 MCs, you know, that, you know, if you listen closely, they're telling you how to do this, man. They're giving you instructions. You know, it's up to you. I mean, whether or not you listen to it. So, I mean, that's one of my favorite verses right there. And then he ended it, which I thought was real clever, man. He said, "You ain't never heard an MC speak like this, and Rodney King ain't never felt a beat like this." I thought that was funny as hell, man. But yeah, that's my kid.
No doubt, no doubt. Jace, what you got up next?
Man, I'm gonna break it up a little bit and go a little ignorant for y'all real quick, man. We gonna do honorable mentions afterwards? I just gotta ask.
Yeah, we gotta cover. This has gotta be more than 5. We
All right. So Notorious B.I.G. Long Kiss Goodnight.
Oh man.
I make your mouthpiece obese like Della Reese. When I release, you lose teeth like little C's. Nigga, please, blood floods your dungarees, and that's just the half of my warpath. I'm gonna stop there.
Oh, I keep going. Laugh now, cry later. Hater, spectator, by my seat twice. You see me in the street, they be like, "Yo, he nice, but that's on the low though." Back with no trying
to play me at the show.
And go up in they short change niggas. Oh,
come on, man.
Oh man.
Man. It's just like a continuation of Warning. He's like, "Yo, I'm telling y'all what it is. Come on."
And it goes back to that how you set songs off. I make your mouthpiece open like Della Reese. When I release, you lose teeth like little seeds. That's when the Seeds got in a car accident when Seeds was driving. And that's why Big broke his leg. Like, yo, man, Big. Oh, God.
Before the show, like, I was listening to it just to make sure I had the lyrics right. You don't want to misquote. And so Leslie's like, why you keep playing? My wife's like, why you keep playing this? I'm like, let me tell you each line what he's saying in this and why he is saying what he's saying. And she was like, oh, as many times my wife, like, many times I heard this, I never knew that. I was like, yeah.
Till little C's cripple me. Now I play hard like my girl's nipples be.
The game sound like a pickle bee.
Yo, you know the rules for BK to do Jeru. Oh my God. You, man, see, you done broke out one of my favorite lyrics.
Yeah.
God. That was one of my favorite verses. If we was doing whole verses, that would have made it. But it was like, yo, that joint right there. My God. That's why when cats be like, oh, life after that second disc came down, I'm like, yo, my downfall, this good night. Big Crack Commandment's better than most people whole albums. Them 3 songs right
there. The Long Kiss Goodnight is ridiculous. The Long Kiss Goodnight, though, it doesn't get enough credit. The Long Kiss Goodnight is dangerous.
It's like, come on, man.
I'll talk to y'all. We honorable mentions, man. And if you really listen to his flow too, like he mastered ending the bar with one word and starting it on the next one. And crazy.
I feel you, bro. John, what you got up next, man?
You know, it's kind of funny because I think we're all kind of vibing off one another, which is nice. Because I went with Ice-T, Rhyme Hayes.
Ooh.
Verse 3, and you know, like I always say on our show, I slap hip hop on the ass. You know what I mean? So I think I'm the most senior on the panel here. I mean, but when Ice-T says I'm notorious, I'm infamous, like a snake, I'm venomous. For those who make this, I think you should consider this. I can make a rhyme complicated as a puzzle, dangerous and violent as a pit bull in a muzzle. But man, I mean, when you think about when that came out off that Rhyme Page joint, that was late 80s. Nobody was rhyming like that. Nobody was kicking it like that. So Ice-T, he set that whole thing off, and he told you, I can make it, you know, I can make it cool or I can make it dangerous. But I'm going to get this money, and the fact that this is off that cut Rhyme Page, this is when cats first started making money off of hip-hop. Before this, cats weren't really making money off hip-hop. Grandmaster Flash, none of those cats were making money. You know what I mean? They were making show dough, but they weren't making album sales.
Yeah, and I think the sad part about Ice is that, you know, a lot of cats, even, you know, a little younger than me, may not know the knowledge on dude. But like Ice was like one of the original OGs in the game. It's almost like how my teens look at Ice Cube and they're always like, yo, Mr. Kill, Ice Cube was a gangster rapper? Like, are we there yet?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think so many people see Ice-T on Law and Order and they're like, oh, that dude. But it's like, yo, Ice-T was like, if cats love Jay-Z, that was the original Ice-T was the original dude getting money.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
And it's that natural progression.
Yeah, you know, he was the dude getting money, and I was trying to find his book on my iPad because his book, his autobiography, is actually a good read. Give me one sec. I'm trying to find this joint now. It's called Ice. Ice-T and Douglas Central. It's just called Ice. Memoir of a Gangster. It's actually a real good read, man. It's a real good read. And I know Ice-T kind of gets lost in the sauce of West Coast hip hop. I still remember first seeing Ice in '84 and Break It. You know what I'm saying? And,
right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, that's a definitely salute for that, man, because a lot of people don't give Ice, you know, his credit. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite Ice joints, man, was off that New Jack City soundtrack, that New Jack Hustler. Like, that was a track that a lot of people, you know, again, you know, forget all about. But, you know, cats look at him like I said, he just a long order nigga, or that's Coco, whatever.
that's Coco. That's who
Name the simple. Name the sample.
What's that?
From the New Jack Hustler. I know you know it because you got.
I know it's Bobby Humphrey. I don't know the name, man.
Harlem River Drive. No, it wasn't Harlem River Drive. My bad. But it was on that album.
I know it's Bobby Humphrey though, but you know my brain ain't working at 42 like it used to. The next joint I got up, man, is my man Andre 3000, man, from the Artist Storytelling Part 2. He says, we on our back looking at the stars above, talking about what we want to be when we grow up. I said, what you want to be? She said, alive. You know what I'm saying? And that right there just hit me, man. It's like I always say, like Dre's mind goes to another plateau where regular folk just don't go because, and I think it's because I've worked with teens, you know, in the worst neighborhoods in DC for the past 16 years, that's such a true statement on how kids feel nowadays. You know, I always tell people my kids are making out bucket lists because they don't think they're gonna live past 18. You know, so they're looking at all the things. I always tell adults, it's almost like, you know, God forbid somebody says, yo, you got a year to live. You're gonna say fuck the job and fuck that. You're just gonna go out and just enjoy your life. And that's what so many of my kids and so many teens across the nation are doing, is because they see themselves having a bucket list. So it's like, I want to go out and do all this fun stuff. I want to steal cars and joyride. I want to have sex. I want to do this. I want to do that because, you know, I don't think I'm going to live long, you know, so I always have to pose that question back to them, you know, what if you do live past 18? You know what I'm saying? What if you do that? One of the things I do with my kids, I make them come up with mission statements for their lives. So when they have to make these decisions, it's like, all right, well, if I know I want to, you know, go to the NBA, is getting in a stolen car going to help me with that? You know, so hopefully they have something to kind of weigh that decision against. But when you're 17 and you don't think you're going to live another year, yeah, I'll get in a stolen car. Why not? You know, why not? So I just thought Dre saying that line was so, and it just always hit me because, like I said, I hear it every day. I see it every day as these kids not thinking they're going to live too long. So just that, I said, what you want to be? And it's like, you know, anytime you ask a kid that, it's like, oh, I want to be a doctor, lawyer, basketball player. But for the answer to be, I just want to be alive. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? And it's such a simple answer, but I just thought the way Dre spit it was just crazy, you know. So that was my next joint. Scott, what you got for your last joint, man? I mean, we're going to have honorable mentions, but we just going to spit those joints. But what's the last joint you want to explain?
Okay, so I can't leave this without doing Nas, my favorite MC of all time. I can't do it. So this comes from Illmatic, New York State of Mind. He said, I never sleep because sleep is the cousin of death. Beyond the walls of intelligence, life is defined. I think of crime when I'm in the New York State of mind. And the reason why I like that joint, man, is because if you really dig into what Nas is saying right there, man, he's saying life is much bigger than what we perceive. You know what I'm saying? It's so much bigger. There's so much more out there. And that song, if you even though the album is kind of dark, you know what I'm saying, Nas is kind of describing his reality in Queensbridge. If you listen to what he said, I never sleep, because sleep is a cousin of death. He's about life. He's about living life to the fullest. You see what I mean? And he was like, you know, you think about life and why we're here and what we're doing, it's so much bigger than what you can perceive. You know what I mean? And that young kid, even him, he was what, 17, 18 when he made this album? Right. I mean, he was incredibly awake, you know what I'm saying, to write lyrics like that. You know, and this album here, Illmatic, was really the first album that made me sit back and think about what I was listening to. You know what I mean? So, and in that lyric in particular, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I had to give you a Nas, man, for this exercise, man. That right there is probably my most favorite of all time.
Yeah, it's funny you use that joint because when Naomi was young, I guess around 3 or 4, and we'd be walking through the mall together. And she'd be trying not to hold my hand. I'd be like, yo, don't never sleep. It's the cousin of death. Like, you know, that's one of them. That's one of those things. And I think any hip hop head has taken that and used it on so many levels. You know, whether you're thinking about it, whether you're crafting something like that in your rhyme or just anything like that, you know, because that's an ill analogy that sleep is the cousin of death.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a simple line, but when you really think about it, it's like, damn, like you said, a little kid is saying this, you know.
Right.
He was 17. Right. That's a little kid to me. That's my team that I work with. I'm like, y'all little kids, man. Y'all little kids. So I couldn't even imagine one of my teenagers having that mindset to be able to you know, really say those things the way Nas was. So I definitely feel you on that. Jace, what's your number 5 joint?
Man, this is tough to cut, but we got honorable mentions. The most underrated rule number 7 of the 10 crack commandments: keep your family and business completely separated. Oh, do I really need to say anything else, y'all?
Nah, you can talk about that whole song, but I don't want to because I'll go through all of it.
The irony in that, man, just real quick, man, to surmise, it's funny, the people that are the closest to you will cut you the deepest.
Yeah.
They know those soft targets. They know those soft spots. You feel me?
Man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
True.
That's yeah. John, what's your number 5, bro?
Jace just fucked me up with that. I gotta recap who I did to make sure I'm not double one. Did I do PE Fight the Power yet?
Nah.
Cool. So that's then I'm on point. But Jam, Jay, you got me thinking about that whole song. And yeah, don't get high on your own supply.
Right.
That's another underrated. That's anyway. He Fight the Power, verse 3. Everybody knows where I was going. I mean, Kill already started nodding his head. Everybody knows. But just to, relieve the mystery, Elvis was a hero to most, but he never meant shit to me. You see, straight up racist. The sucker was simple and plain. Motherfuck him and John Wayne. Because I'm black and I'm proud, I'm righty, I'm hyped, plus I'm amped. Most of my heroes don't appear on those stamps. Sample and look back. Sample, look back, you'll find nothing but rednecks for 400 years if you check. Don't worry, be happy was the number 1 jam. Damn, if I say it, you can slap me right here. When that came out right there, that was like, how they say it, roof gone. I mean, I was in the military when it came out, so, there was a lot of nonsense going on with that whole situation. Love my Marine Corps, but just at the same time maturing and understanding what our country was about and being away from home. So, those parental influences, their voices start replaying in your head for certain situations, you feel me? Because you're not around them. And just everything that was going on at that time, man, how crack was rolling in throughout the country, how, mass incarceration, I got family that got swept up in that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? So Fight the Power was like, it was that anthem for a very long time. You know what I mean? It was that anthem for a very long time. You had that as an anthem. You had KRS, you know what I mean? Sound of the Police. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you had so many cuts that was coming out at that time, man. That was just, and this one right here, man, I think that's probably one of the most quoted hip hop lines of all time. I definitely think that is on the list.
Yeah. I mean, Fight the Power was just crazy. That summer was just...
Oh, man, it was bananas.
During that time, you had the Yusef Hawkins killings.
Right.
You had so much stuff that New York was just a bottle keg at that time. And when Fight the Power came out with Do the Right Thing, it was just... it was like literally like a powder keg. Like, it was just the explosion of just everything that had been going on in New York City. So... incredible song, incredible line, you know what I mean? And that's what I loved about Chuck. I won't hold y'all, man, when by the time I get the Arizona video came out, not doing the King thing, I was scared for Chuck. I was like, these white folk out here may try to assassinate this dude. Like, I'm real talking, like, I was like, Chuck better, like, Chuck, you better, keep low and keep firing, stay low and keep firing, because, bruh, They may be gunning for you, like, for real, because Chuck was that mouthpiece that, I wish, MCs, and we do, again, just to echo what everybody else is saying, we still have them, but, Chuck was in your face. Chuck and Pac was in your face, so I definitely feel you on the Fight the Power joint. For my last joint, before we go to the honorable mentions, I'm going to go with Jay-Z again. From where I'm from, and where you said, well, you can't put your vest away and say you wear it tomorrow because the day after we'll be saying, damn, I was just with him yesterday, and that line, that song to me, that's funny because back in 2001, I had my one of my coworkers, Jeff, this white dude, real cool dude. One day, him and his wife rode up to Philly with me and T to go to the old neighborhood. And he was like, "Yo, Kill, you know, how was it growing up in your neighborhood?" And I just put on where I'm from. Like that was it. I was like, yo, I could explain
the hell out of it.
But I honestly think where I'm from is probably the best depiction of growing up in the hood. You know, the church is the flakiest. Niggas been praying to God so long that they atheists. You know, boosters in abundance, buy a half price sweater new. Like that whole song is just like, I just listen to this and that's how it is. And I just always thought the way he flipped that, you know, when you can't put your vest away and say we'll wear it tomorrow because the day after we'll be saying, damn, I was just with him yesterday. Like, you know, again, Jay's brain, you know, you got those cats who take it to a whole nother place of being able to say something so simplistic but making it sound so not only dope but just freaking it. So that was my number 5 on that. So let's go into some honorable mentions. Cats don't really gotta explain why. Just what are their joints? Scott, what is one of your honorable mentions, man?
All right, for me, honorable mention, Sky Zoo. Sky Zoo offers the music for my friend's joint. The track is called Suicide Doors. He said, as I think of how to begin this, I already thought up the ending. And if the ending dictates the way the start of it's written, then I'm really rewinding what isn't. Get it?
Right. Yeah,
Sky Zoo. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Sky's a problem. Jace, what's one of your joints?
Beanie Siegel, Streets is Talking. Pull pressure to the trigger, bullets fly in threes. You'll forever rest under bullshit, dirt, lies, and leaves. I bullshit, dirt, tell lies, and leave. Look in my eyes, realize it's beans.
Beans. I'll say this, man. Beans was a monster. I mean, he's still, you know, I understand after all the losing the kidney and everything, you know, he had a nice little verse on Pusha T joint, but that Public Enemy #1 mixtape, yo, Beans is a monster on that. In fact, I'm gonna jump in before I go to Scott because I had a Beans joint too. It's from.
He's just gonna leave me out. Scott already went.
I ain't gonna leave you out. I'm trying to
I understand.
So he had a joint off the Public Enemy mixtape called "I'm Built for the Truck." This nigga says, "I'm built for the truck, but I look good in a coupe. Fresh fitted white tee and some boots. My army fatigues, but still I rock the shit out of suits." I was like, yo, this dude just said the shit out of suits. Like, yo, it was, and then he went on to say, "I'm the shit like 3 wings, salt, pepper." What did he say? "I'm the shit like 3 wings, salt, pepper, and hot sauce, a Lucy and a bag of chips." Like, yo, that nigga come around the way, hood corner. You just on the court like, yo, give me 3 wings, salt, pepper, or hot sauce. You know, Pat, give me a Lucy and a bag of chips. Like, Beans. You know, my bad, John. What you got for us?
No, that's all right, man. I'm gonna be forever offended for 2 things. Because when you did that Jay-Z episode, you were supposed to have me back on, and you didn't.
No. We never did it. We never did it yet.
What do you mean you haven't done it yet?
We haven't done it second. You got at me about.
All right.
I got you.
All right. We got that on air a second time. I got a double commitment. But I got to go with a new cat. You know what I mean? Because when I heard Kendrick Lamar's Mad City, man. I mean, my nephew, I gotta give him mad love on that, man, because he bought the CD and gave it to me. He was, "Oh, you gotta hear this." And I know how you are with new cats. You won't bump new cats, but here, just put it in your car on the way home from work and trust me. So Mad City, when Kendrick says bodies on top of bodies, IVs on top of IVs, obviously the corners between the sheets like the Isleys. I was like, damn, that ain't nothing but a killing field out there, what he's describing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you think about what he just packed into that verse and the visualization that takes place for that, man, I mean, it's crazy. And for that kid, you know, I like where some of these new cats are taking hip hop. You know what I mean? Because they're keeping it with the elements of it. And when you think about, you know, hip hop being born from that struggle and being that street reporter, he just told you about his summer right there. You know what I mean? Just about the killings and everything. You know, the kid's dope, man.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. I'm gonna do a couple of mine, or we can just all do a couple. I got KRS South Bronx. As hard as it was, as hard as it looked, and as wild as it seems, I didn't hear a peep from a place called Queens. That was like one of my favorite lines. Y'all gotta understand, with hip hop, when I rock with you, like I rock with you. Like when that whole East Coast West Coast war was going on, I've never heard a Tupac album, for the simple fact that I was riding with Big so that it was like, nah, I don't even like. I was riding with BDP in '86 and '87 so hard that anything about Queens was like it was just X'd off for me. KRS Bridges over, Brooklyn keeps on making it, Brooklyn keeps on taking it, Bronx keeps creating it, and Queens keeps on faking it. God, what's another joint I got? Biggie, Raw Nights, I Perform Like Mike, Anyone, Tyson, Jordan, Jackson, Action, Pack Guns, Ridiculous, and I'm quick to bust if my ends you touch. That's crazy. God, man. I got Black Thought, Push Up Your Lighter, Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority is what I'm probably on if I ain't whipping a land throughout your section. Like the way he just made section rhyme with what he said, and if you from Philly, you know our bus line is called SEPTA, and it's short for Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority. So, and my last two, J-Roll from the Alcoholics, The Next Level, when he says, you a nigga, everybody diss, cause you can't butts this, you got a bad name like Dick Butt Kiss. I always thought that was hilarious. That like till I date, I'm like, that's one of the funniest. Like, who sets off they rock? But that's when you can have fun with hip hop, and that's what I loved about the Alcoholics. Them dudes just have fun. And my last joint is crazy because I'm not a big fan of dude, but 50 Cent, one of my favorite joints from him, from Many Men. Pussy niggas put money on my head, go and get your refund, motherfucker, I ain't dead. I was just like, yo, how you gonna tell niggas to get a refund? Because they have money on you, but they ain't kill you. I was like, that's genius to me. But Scott, run down some of yours, man.
All right, I'm gonna give you one of my all-time favorites right here, man. He said, this is Q-Tip, check the rhyme. He said, okay, if knowledge is the key, then just show me the lock. Got the scrawny legs, but I move just like Lou Brock. With speed, I'm agile, plus I'm worth your while. 100% intelligent black child. My optic presentation sizzles the retina. How far must I go to gain respect? Well, it's just kind of simple. Just remain your own or be crazy, sad, and alone. Bro, Q-Tip is one of my favorite of all time. And I'm going to leave you with this one, man. Guru, Mass Appeal. He said, a lot of rappers be like one-time wonders. Couldn't say a fly rhyme if there was one right under their noses. I hate those motherfucking poses. But I'm so real to them, it's scary. With my unique skills, nah, you can't compare. Rest in peace, Guru, man. One of my favorites of all time.
Hell yeah. Jace, what you got left?
I'm going to give you three real quick. John Blaze, Big Pun. Anyone test the pun must die. Just give me one try. Menace to Society. You know you done fucked up, right? So, every time I hear that, I crack up laughing. So you bought the bottle of beer? Definitely. I just crack up. From American Gangster, the intro from Prey, the mind state of a gangster from the 40s meets the business mind of Motown's Berry Gordy, turn crack rock into a chain of 40/40s. Sorry, my jewelry so gaudy. It's gaudy to make that New York accent, made it all connect. Dope. And then last one, I think it almost goes without saying. Live at the Barbecue, Nas, Verbal Assassin, My Architect Pleases. When I was 12, I went to hell for snuffing Jesus. Classic Thomas.
Yo, the funniest thing about that line is I would never repeat that line. And keep in mind, growing up, I ain't go to church. I ain't know nothing about church. But I just know you can't say you snuffed Jesus. I knew enough about God to just know you can't say you punched his son. Like, so I mean, I would be saying that, and I'd be like, when I was 12, yeah, and then I jump back, and it's like I refuse to even mutter those words for years. So it's crazy. Still one of the craziest lines ever. Still one of the craziest ever. John, what you got left, man?
I got two, man, and the first one is going to be LL, man. And again, just simply because radio was so quintessential to hip hop, you know what I mean? It basically took hip hop to the stratospheric level that it is today. And he said it. Sorry if you can't understand. When I need a radio inside my hand, don't mean to offend other citizens, but I kick my volume way past 10. You know what I mean? And that was back in the day. We didn't have the 16 batteries. You know what I mean? When Do the Right Thing, when Radio Raheem was like, 20 motherfucker, 20. D motherfucker, D. You know what I mean? We all felt that because who didn't have a boombox that didn't take, 20 motherfucking D batteries? So, and then the last one I'm going to leave you with is, I got to leave you with Jay-Z, and I got to go to that Drug Dealers Anonymous. I know everybody likes that joint he got with DJ Khaled, but I really think this Drug Dealers Anonymous is going to take about Cat's 4 or 5 years to catch up to. I really don't think people understand what he's saying and what he's putting down in here. And verse 2, I mean, he just rips the can wide open. Federico Fellini in the flesh. Sergio Cicchini inside his mesh. Bitch, I've been bracking since the 80s. Google me, baby, you crazy? 89 in London, pull the Benz up. Type it in. Google's your friend, bruh. 14 years drug dealer and still counting. Who deserves the medal of freedom is my accountant. He's been hula hooping through loopholes working round shit. IRS should have had the townhouses surrounded. Thanks to the lawyers. I marbled the foyer. I tore the floor up. Yeah, that's for the koi fish. I mean, when they finally get around to breaking just Drug Dealers Anonymous down, then we can get to I Got the Keys. Because, I mean, it's what he said right there. First of all, he ripped up that white chick, Tommy Lane, whatever her name is. He said he was a drug dealer for 14 years. When everybody knows Jay-Z wasn't a drug dealer for 14 years. But that was just telling you what white people's perception of him. So he said, okay, fine. You want to think I was a drug dealer for 14 years? Then shit. Shout out to my accountant there. You know what I mean? You want to think I'm getting all this from selling crack on the block for 14 years? You're dumb. You know what I mean? So he opens up the line with Federico Fellini in the flesh. Obviously, I'm just that felon just off the break, and I'm right in your face with it. Since you've been talking about I'm a 14-year drug dealer. Shut your mouth. You know what I mean? That Drug Dealer Anonymous, man, is such a dangerous cut. I mean, when I know Chill, I already know you chopped it up a few times, but that's a dangerous record right there.
Oh yeah. Push and J both put in work on that.
Oh yeah, but Jay took it over because Push never came back after verse 1. Jay took that joint over and he drove that cliff. I mean, he listen. Yeah. Never mind. We'll say that for the Jay episode.
Yeah, we gonna say after the Jay. I actually forgot. I got 2 more. One of my favorite joints, and John said LL. One of my favorite albums is Mama Said Knock You Out, man. I think that's one of the most slept on hip hop classics ever. He has a song there that most people never talk about. It's called Cheesy Rat Blues. You know what I'm saying? And it actually freaks the Kool and the Gang sample that Tip and Tribe ended up using for the Scenario remix years later. Marley flipped it first. And it's basically LL just telling the story of him falling off. In the verses, I just laugh and say, so what I was rich. But when I walk away, it's like, ain't this a kick in the rear? And I'm standing here and can't afford a tissue for my tears. I had to learn in an incredible fast way. When you ain't got no money, they treat you like an ashtray. You know what I'm saying? And I just thought that was such a dope song just because, like I said, he's talking about just falling off and how everybody rocks with you when you're on top, but when you ain't got nothing no more, you can't, you just nobody James. And then my last joint I'm gonna leave with Rakim. I can't end without saying one to him. I take 7 MCs, put them in a line, and add 7 more brothers who think they can rhyme. Well, it'll take 7 more before I go for mine. That's 21 MCs ate up at the same time. You know what I mean? And I mean, ain't nothing to be said about that, man. It was, my melody was like 20 minutes long. Right. That's the longest. That may hold the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest song ever. And then it was slow as all outdoors. But you can't ever go wrong with Ryle, the melody. Like John said, the art. So Scott, John, tell them all about the Life Podcast, where they can check y'all out. Give them all the information, man.
Okay. So you can hit us up at www.thelightpodcast.com. John and I put out, we put out episodes about every 2.5 to 3 weeks. We also do an episode called Politicking, where we hit up, any pressing issues that we feel need to be addressed. We also put out mixtapes. We do interviews with artists that we think need to be heard. We just came out with a new episode 2 days ago about Cypress Hill, where John and I went in, and it was a great episode. We broke a new artist called Emoji Leak on that episode. They're dope as hell. Check them out when you get the chance. You can hit us up on Twitter at The Light Podcast, Instagram at The Light Podcast, and on Facebook. Just search for The Light Podcast. We're there, man. We're there. We're very active, interactive. So hit us up. Hit us up.
All right, no doubt. Like I said, definitely one of the dopest hip hop podcasts that's out there. That's how I connected with Scott through Twitter and just from listening to each other's shows. So definitely a dope joint. Jace, give them all your information for Twitter too, bro.
All right, Twitter, it's at Jarek Tyler. That's at JERIKTYLER. Instagram, JTyler0801.
All right. And y'all already know this with me, Kill889 on Twitter. We'll make beats for food. As always, y'all, man, we out here trying to have dope conversations about music. These are just some of the many brothers who I chop it up with. They're dope. They know their stuff. So, my thing is and you all are part of it. When I'll do my song of the day or we'll have conversations on Twitter, it's just about building with people. So, one of the things everybody always talks about is, oh, man, I miss the college days where I could talk hip hop every day and where I could really get in good conversations. Man, I have dope conversations every day on Twitter with these brothers and so many more people who I've linked with. So, follow us, get at us, let's chop it up, man. That's what this whole game is about. Twitter ain't about just following your favorite celeb and all that stuff, man. Let's support each other. Let's, and that's what I really am praying for, that we can get to. And that's why I love these two dudes from the Light Podcast. Because you got so many cats who be like, oh, I got a podcast to do hip hop. He got one. I'm a diss him. Nah, man, we all trying to do this for the culture, man. Right. That's the thing, man. Let's get together. Let's support each other. Let's look out for each other and all that stuff. So as always, good looking for chopping it up, y'all, man. I'm going to check y'all next week, man. I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you, Kill.
Thanks, Kill.
No doubt, no doubt.
Thanks, man.